What do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
It's time!
Welcome. Today is Thursday, March 28, 2024. Tonight is a software explorations night. We are going to, I think we're going to be wrapping up our automation on free mind recovery one way or another. We're going to be focusing a little bit more on Cypress today and doing the page object model, as well as, looking around, making sure our Playwright is correct and our Selenium is correct. But, if you do not know who I am your host of the show and of the channel. I am Tech Coach Ralph, where we are engineered to win, like it says right there. Boom. All right. So we are going to jump into our agenda, and we're going to go through what we normally go through, my thanks, my show schedule, and then we are going to get to work. One thing I want to talk tonight about is, and I'll mention this as we get more into the show, but it's how do you, like, for those who are trying to transition into tech or to QA, you might be taking a boot camp, you might be going on some Udemy courses. How would you expect, like, your first week, first day, first couple of weeks to go on the job? So we're going to talk about that during our breaks as well. So as after we finish the regular intro and agenda, then we're going to have a little chat about that. Then we're going to get to work. I am not going to be staying too long tonight, so we are going to have to make it happen. All right. So let's jump into our agenda for tonight. And as always, I like to say thank you to all of the newest subscribers, as well as the subscribers that have been with me for a while. Shout out to you guys.
I appreciate you.
And a big salute to the Tech Barbarians. One of my newest Tech Barbarians. We were working this morning around 8:45, 9 o'clock to get them set up, which goes to what I want to talk about, but to get them set up and how to actually get integrated into a new project and how to get set up and things like that. So we're going to talk about that. And but yeah, shout out to the Tech Barbarians who are putting in the work every single day. All right. So let's jump into our live show schedule. So we have our morning shows Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:15 a.m. We do, I call it Coffee and Kata. We review some news stories, and then we get into our mobile app development work using Flutter, test-driven development. We put up the emulator. We write our widget tests. We already have our unit tests written, and we're adding new features. I show the Kanban board that I'm using, just so you can have an idea of how, like, testing and development and all of that works. I already have an older version of the app in test mode in the iOS store and in the Android store. So, and very soon we're going to be, I'll go through the process of pushing the next iteration of the test mode. And probably at that point, if there's no critical bugs, we will be, publishing it to be live on the App Store. So I will have an actual app live on the App Store. So that is going to be very, very fun. Great accomplishment, I must say. All right. So then we have Sunday afternoons, software explorations. We are working on Terraform, zooming through Terraform. We've been working on the Dockerite, like on using the Elastic Cloud container, setting that up with Terraform. So the goal is to set up the Elastic Cloud registry. We got that done, and then we have to actually get it to use AWS Fargate so that it can run our container, and then eventually we might move that over to move the Poopy Pants application to that, depending on prices and stuff like that. So we'll see. So all of that is in process, and that's what we're using Terraform to do. And I must say, right, talking about Terraform, I've been using Terraform a lot this week in the past few weeks at work. And that was one of the reasons that I wanted to learn it so I could be able to contribute more to my team and add more value. And if I become the Terraform guy for my team, like more power to me, and I am excited to do that. So started learning Terraform back in around September, and we have made great strides every single day, learning something new, being able to connect. See, and this is the thing about learning stuff, because if you don't know anything about it, it's hard to go and connect with the people who are, you can say, almost experts in the domain at your company or around you. But as you get to learn, as you're contributing, then you can say, hey, how could I do this? And oh, okay, you can look at this over here. But that was one of the purposes of me learning it, so that I could be able to create infrastructure. And you've seen me create my own infrastructure with Terraform, but also being able to contribute to my company. And you've seen me, well, you haven't seen me because I've been doing it at work, but I've been able to connect with people and get different insights on how to do different things. So, it's been a very, very exciting Terraform ride. And that's all possible because of the software explorations that I've been doing on Sunday with you guys to learn like how Terraform works and how to set it up. We've been using it primarily with AWS, but at some point in the future, we are going to revisit that. We're going to go through Microsoft Azure. We're going to go through Google Cloud Platforms. You've been seeing us use it with MongoDB Atlas. So that's another aspect. Like so many different tools and platforms you can use it with. So definitely join us for software exploration on Sundays. All right, Tuesday nights we have our Q&A sessions where we go through a series of questions. We did that this past Tuesday. It was very, very fun. Tons of questions. Answering, hanging out with you guys. Always a fun time. Many people in the chat. Interacting with the chat. The phone lines are open on Tuesday, so you guys can call in if you have any particular questions. And then Thursday nights, tonight we do software explorations. Right now it's focused more on QA. Like I said, this should be the end, one way or the other, of our automation testing with Cypress, Playwright, and Selenium on the Free Mind Recovery site by my good friend Jared, Calculus Coder. And then starting next week, we should be starting into our API testing series. So look out for that. If you are interested in API testing, you definitely want to tune in. I'm going to be talking about how you can practice using APIs, how you can practice testing APIs, different tools, different resources. And then we'll eventually get into automating testing APIs and stuff like that through Java, through Python, maybe through JavaScript slash TypeScript. We'll see. All right. So many different opportunities. And that's what we do here on this channel. So the next few weeks, months maybe, will be dedicated to API testing and different strategies around that. So you definitely want to tune in. So let me just run through that one more time. Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:15 a.m., we have our coffee and kata. We review some news stories, and we do some coding work. Sunday afternoons, we have software explorations. We're focusing on Terraform. Tuesday nights are Q&A sessions. And Thursday nights, we have software explorations, focusing more on the QA aspect because I am a QA engineer at heart. All right. Now, let's jump into our pre-recorded content. Mondays, we have candid conversations where, just raw, authentic thoughts that I have floating through my crazy mind. Wednesdays, we have software explorations, concept and overviews. And yesterday, we just wrapped up the GRC framework, talking about the best practices, some case studies, some really good case studies is that, and salaries. What do people in GRC make? Because I see a lot of people who want to go into GRC, but there's such a wide aspect and there's such a wide salary range. So we're just discussing at different levels in those positions what kind of salaries you can make. And then Fridays we have the Bug Bite. So you definitely want to tune in for that. The Bug Bite is we review different bugs that are plaguing the industry. And I believe tomorrow we're going to be talking about the cybersecurity attack that's been plaguing Fulton County, aside from all the other issues that they've been facing. So one more time. Oh, no, almost forgot. Throughout the week, we have shorts that we release, as well as clips from our Q&A show, where they're 8 to 10, 5 to 10 minute pieces, clips from the show where I address a question, and that way, if you can't make it to the show, you can target a particular question and find my insight on it, and you can share your feedback, and we can go from there. So any video I ever create, feel free to leave me a comment, make a particular suggestion, ask a particular any particular question, and I will make sure that sometimes I'll dedicate a whole live stream or a whole series of live streams to your questions if it warrants it. So I am here to help you grow. Okay, so that is our pre-recorded content. One more time: Mondays, Candid Conversations; Wednesdays, Software Explorations, Concepts and Overviews; Fridays, the Bug Bite; and then throughout the week we have shorts as well as clips from the Q&A show. All right. So that is our pre-recorded content. Shout out to all of that. All right. And we have in the chat already, as Pimp C would say, already, we have my co-host of the show, Mitch. What's going on, Mitch? Happy to see you as always. And we got my guy D that says, "How D? What's going on, D? How is your evening going tonight?" Shout out to D. All right. Okay. So you see what's going on here, Mitch? It must be Thursday because we have both bots in the chat tonight. So let me go and give one of them the night off. Let's give this one the night off. Although it's funny, the one that's always the most consistent, it is the one that I always give a rest. And of course, shout out to Mitch. A second one. Give you the adults. Kathy. Always. My co-host of all of my shows. Shout out to Mitch. All right, let's do this. So, let me see. All right, so let's do this real quick. Agile Manifesto. We are on our last principle of the Agile Manifesto. So let's swoop over to this real quick. So the 12th principle of the Agile Manifesto: at regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. So this is a really, really good one. And this is about feedback, continuous feedback, right? So I'll tell you the way that we do it on my team is every 2 weeks we have our sprints, and at the end of the sprint we do a sprint retrospective. So we look back on the previous 2 weeks and see, okay, how did everything go? What's our sentiments? How did we feel about it? Did we accomplish our goals for the past 2 weeks? And what can we do? Like, any adjustments we need to make? And is there anything that we could do to that we want to try out, we want to experiment with, to make the team 1% better? Just to keep growing. And why is the timer up? All right, and so I know why. I know why. So that is what we do in our in the sprint retrospective. It is super important to have a good understanding. You don't have to be an expert in Agile, especially if you're not a Scrum Master. You might want to be a little bit more familiar with it if you're like a product manager, product owner, but you don't have to be an expert in it if you're in like QA or software engineer, etc. But you want to be pretty well versed in it, and you always want to be thinking about, okay, how did it go, and what can we do to make it better, to make it smoother, so the team could be a lot more cohesive. At a prior company that I was at, we barely ever had sprint retrospectives, and the the atmosphere on the team could get like very tense sometimes when you like because things weren't getting put out there but like I've noticed when we do like on the team that I do the sprint retrospectives every 2 weeks, it's it's a lot more. It flows a lot more smoother because anything that you were thinking, anything you might have on your chest, you get it off right there on the spot. Then you keep it moving, and we all have a goal that we are working to for the greater good of our clients, for the greater good of our company, things like that, right? So that is the 12th principle of the Agile Manifesto. At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. And I would say the agile, like the principles of 12 of the Agile Manifesto, right? These 12 principles, I would highly recommend that you try to apply those as well to your day to day, right? To your family life. Not like you shouldn't. The way that agile works, it can have great like a lot of benefits to you getting things done. So, for instance, with your let's say with your family and stuff like that, you can have these regular intervals and reflect on how to become more effective in whatever it is that you're doing. Right? Like I remember I mentioned on in the chat on the Technique Sip show. I think it was that show the other day, and and I was saying, yeah, like me and my wife, we have daily stand-ups where we're just okay. What is our plan for the day? What are we trying? Like, what did we get done yesterday? What is our plan for today? And that way we can be on the same page. And if I need help with something, then she knows. If she needs help with something, then I know, and we make sure we get that taken care of. And we do that. Like, and I have it automated through our Slack group that I had that automated through our Slack group that it just sends the message and we respond and we both can see it and then we can if there's anything else additional we need to figure out, we can talk about it. So yeah, so I just wanted to share that last principle and that idea on how you can make it a lot more effective in everything that you do, how you can use agile because okay, agile was created for software development and a process to make it smoother, but you can also use it for for day to day, right? So just consider that and look into that. And if you have any questions, drop it in the chat, leave me a comment, send me an email, and we can figure it out. All right. So let's go back and let me get this timer off because I know what happened when I started it the other day. It went crazy on the. All right, cool, perfect. All right, so we are going to get into the code, but I am going to post this question. I wonder how I can do this. The question that I want to post is if you are transitioning from one career to another, maybe, I don't know, maybe you used to be like an English teacher or something, I don't know, and you are looking to get in tech, maybe software engineer, maybe QA engineer, and you did a boot camp or Udemy course. So now you actually get hired by a company, right? So you broke through, you got hired. How do you think your first day or so on the job is going to go? Right? So I wonder if I can do this. Let me see. No. That's not gonna work. Okay, cool. So I don't know. I could do that. So that's what we'll talk. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, right? So you're transitioning from one field to another. You did your boot camps, you did your Udemy courses, whatever the case may be, and now you get the job, and let's say software engineer, QA engineer, whatever. And how do you think it's going to go? How do you get set up? What is it that you're going to do? And we'll talk about that on our breaks as well as look at some jobs. All right. So let's put up our timer again. And we are going to get started. Before we get started, do me a big favor if you have not done so yet. If you haven't done so yet, go ahead and like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every single time that I go live. All right? And so that way you can, and every time that I drop new content, so that way you can stay informed and you can get the best content on the internet. Okay? And if you need some additional help, additional coaching, go over to www.techcoachralph.dev where you can sign up for a coaching plan as well as have access to additional content, which I like. Talking about additional content, I am going to make a Patreon post about what you could do now to be ready for when you get to that first day on the job and you start working on that project, how to get the project set up, and I'll give you some tips and tricks and a actual project to be able to get onto your computer, get it started, and then if you're doing QA, write some tests. If you're doing software engineering, make some updates to that project to see so you can get the ball rolling, because you don't want to get into the company and then you are like a deer in headlights and you are totally lost and they're like, did we make the right choice here? You don't want to be that. Don't be that person. All right. So yeah. Okay. Let's get to it today. Let's put up our first, get some water first. And then Mitch, on one of the breaks, we're going to talk about these, how my energy drink withdrawal is going as well. I know what I need to do, but it's hard to, we'll talk about it. We will talk about it, right? But let's go. First 20 minutes up.
It's time to do.
Okay. So, how do I zoom in again? Oops. Okay. So last time we did let me close this down. We did our Playwright test, but not for register, but for login. And we wanted to have this login to website. And we wanted to create page object. Let's see what's going on here. So this is login to website. Okay, so let's finish up the Playwright first, and then we'll get to the Cypress part. All right, let me use my trackball mouse. And see, I got my trackball mouse working. One of my favorite, I love using the trackball mice. All right, so, and I'll show that once we go back to full screen as well. So let's go to Playwright. So I do want to move this one into Selenium, but I'll do that afterwards. We have account. Not that one. Navigation. Okay, so I'm going to create a folder in here for Playwright. And I'm going to create a folder in here for Selenium as well. And you know what I'll do? I will push this code up to my GitHub so that you can have a copy of it, and you can, if you want to continue automating this, then by all means go for it. All right, so we are in the Playwright folder. I just copied it over because most of the code is going to be the same. This is going to go to, okay. And we could actually technically just open, you can follow a guide and open this one. Let's put that next to it. And we're going to do, because we can have the same name of the method, but it's just going to be different how we actually use it. So import, test, expect. I don't think we even need to expect from at Playwright test. And this is, all right, so now once we get over here, class navigation, we are going to say click, and then so here we're just gonna we're gonna modify this to be more like this. So this is, instead of this being driver, it's gonna be page test, and this would just be page test, page test. Actually, no, I'm wrong. I'm very wrong on this. Just do this. We are going to keep the same methods, but we're just going to get rid of all of that. We don't need that. We don't need none of these actually, because we are going to, so we can keep the name of the methods, and we can get rid of this. Right? So let's do that. Let's just get rid, we'll keep our method names and we'll get rid of all of this stuff. And then we'll put in the right things. Well, actually, no, we can keep. Let's just go like that. Get rid of everything. Okay, so let's keep our methods and we'll get rid of everything else. Okay, now let's start filling the stuff in. Okay, so if we look over here, and I'm going to move this down over here to make it easier to see. So we are going to need async, click the account navigation link. What we're going to do here is say await page dot locator. Nope, not that. Page And we're going to say for the account, so account navigation link. And we're going to say click. Right. So now we have the one done for clicking the account link. All right. So now we're going to go down over here and we're going to do the same. Await page.locator. And this is going to be registration link dot click. And we come down here. Locator, and it's going to be, oops. Login, oh my God. Login, navigation link, dot click, right? Now, here, we're going to say page test. And we're going to say, so go to registration page. We're going to say, we are going to say await, or await this dot click the navigation link, and then hold on. Why is it using it this one? Okay, what that one, and we say page, and then say await again. Where did the other one come from? This dot click, so the registration link in submenu. And then go to login page. We're gonna say page test. And we're gonna say await this dot click the navigation link in submenu page, and await this dot click the login there. All right, so we can get rid of this right here for now. I don't know what that's there for. And now we have our page object for Playwright. So now, if we were to go to this login right here, we should be able to say, so if we do import navigation from Playwright navigation, we should be able to say, so await navigation dot go to login page, and we should be able to remove this stuff right here. And then we have this validation here that we can leave here for now. And then we will no longer need this over here. So we have, so then we can also do validation. I mean, this is okay to leave for now, but we could do this validation inside of the. We'll do that. So let's run it right now to see what's going on. If we do npx playwright and we say test slash what is this called? Login test specs and then headed and project WebKit. All right, let's see what happens. Unknown command playwright test. I guess npx playwright and then space test. Like that. Let's see. Cool. There we go. All right. I actually remembered the command today, so clap for me. Look at that. All right, so something failed. It could not do, so here is what failed. It couldn't find the login link. So and that's because it didn't expand it. All right, let me see if I can maximize. Let's see. How can you let's close this down? Run it one more time. That doesn't work. I'm gonna see if I can maximize the browser. Sometimes it, for some weird reason, it works on the second time. Let's see here. Okay, so it is failing over there. So let's do this then. Let's do so I'm looking over here to see how I will maximize the browser in Playwright. So, just drop this in here. Let me see. This should do it, but have proper syntax. I don't see it clicking the. It's not clicking the count navigation. All right, so let's try to add this. Let me see. Oops. See, it should be super. It should be something super simple to maximize the browser. Let me see. Property called viewport.
Lunch break! Lunch break!
Let's see. Let's see here. So if we're doing projects, you want to start your browser maximize, use the start maximize flag when starting the browser, and disable fixed viewport when launching a context or page. So let's try that real quick over here, see what happens. Okay. Playwright. Launch. I'm gonna run it one more time before we go to break and see what happens. Okay. Oh, code is right, but the we're not playing fair, are we? So very tricky to navigate, of course, because even when your code is right, so many different things. Like if it's running in the wrong, browser size and stuff like that, can always cause trouble. So and where to go to here, you can see that it's finding the right code, but remember this code is like not the best code to be using. To be honest with you, actually, let me check something real quick. Let's go to free mind recovery. We go to I doubt this changed, but still home sign in. And if we were to try it without headed, I wonder if it would pass, because it is not going to pop up on the screen. So if not, then too bad, we're moving on to Cypress. But the concept is correct about the page object model, where we are just saying go to login page and it's going to do all of that for us, and then log into the website and we just passing our username and password, and it should take care of everything for us. So yeah, but getting ready to go to break as soon as this one is over. Yep, same thing. All right, cool. Let's go to break. All right, so we are done with Playwright. So we checked off Selenium, we checked off Playwright, and what I'll do, I will push this code up, and I'll push this code up, and you can continue to automate it, do the page object model, pick up where I left off, ask me questions, things like that. So you can get some practice doing automation. I started it for you. I think I'm at a great stopping point, and I give you the option for Cypress. I give you the option for Selenium. I give you the option for Playwright. Whatever your interest is, you have something that you can try out. So by all means, go for it. And then next segment we're gonna do Cypress, and we're gonna wrap that one up as well. So get some water. All right, let's put up our 5 minutes on the clock for a break. So, the question I asked earlier was, you are starting a new job, QA, software engineering, maybe Terraform infrastructure. How do you get started in it? What is it like? What do you do? So when I start working with someone for like, coaching and stuff like that, a lot of times they might be in a boot camp, they might have done Udemy courses, but it's like the only experience that they have is from being like doing exactly what was told in the boot camp or in the project. So when it comes time to like, all right, this is the project that we're working on, and I need you to do this, it's like, I'm not exactly sure what, like, I'm not exactly sure where to get started. So what I want to talk to you about now is, all right, how do you get started? So the very first thing, and this is why I always recommend you go check out the Don's Chaos Camp, right? Let me put, I'm gonna use Chaos Camp as an example of how, and maybe that's why a lot of people like they are hesitant to go to it because they don't know what to do, how to get started. So we're gonna do it together. If I go to pull this up. All right. So if I go to here, and we have all of these different um all of these different repositories. So if and look at that, there's a Terraform challenge over here. Race condition, code drift. I think I did this one as well. But let's take a just look at the rock paper scissors one. So let's say you get hired for a company, maybe it's a startup, and they are building the rock paper scissors game API, and it can be consumed by the API can be consumed by any front end developer who wants to build a rock paper scissors front end around the API. So for instance, let's say you want to do the rock paper scissors game, and you want to animate the hand motions for rock paper scissors. So you're like, rock paper scissors shoot, right? I got scissors. So you can do that animation and whatever, and you just integrate it with the API. So let's say you do the countdown, like I just said, rock paper scissors shoot, and on shoot, it's going to reveal the choice that you made as well as the choice that the computer made, and says who wins. So that's what's being built. And now you're like, all right, how do I get started? How do I start using the API and everything like that? Well, one of the first things outside, like either going to the GitHub or going to the wherever the documentation is, but the GitHub README is always a good source of truth, a good place to get started. So you start reading the documentation, right? Number one, you start reading the documentation, and you say, okay, what does this API do? You get a good understanding of the API. You get a good understanding of the endpoints, the request, the response, the health check that I added recently, and it tells you all the details. So the first thing you're gonna have to do is figure out how do you clone the repo to your local machine, right? So you'd go to like copy the URL, and you'd say, go to your terminal. Go to your terminal, and you'd say git clone, and you'd paste in the GitHub URL, and it's going to download the files to your computer. Okay, I'm not going to do it because I already have this on my computer.
Get a move on. Back to work. Chop, chop. Let's go. Come on. Get a move on. Back to work. Back to work. Back to work.
And then you would have to, so you'd have to read the part of the documentation of like, all right, how do I get this to run on my machine? So this is how you'd run it locally after. So this is in Python. this is how you'd get it to run locally, whether you're doing, you can do pip install, then do uvicorn and load the app. One way. Or you can do it via Docker, where you can build the Docker image. And all of these things that in this document right here, all the stuff in this document is pretty much what you would be doing in your first couple of weeks on the job, Swagger documentation. This one repo right here, the Rock, Paper, Scissors Challenge, it is a golden repository to get you started. So you get experience on building Docker, like how to build a Docker image, how to run a Docker container. I might even update this information with a Docker Compose file. But like being able to run this command right here, super important to your development, whether it is software engineering, whether it is QA engineering. Running this command right here, super important, because these are the tools that you'd be using to test applications locally. Then how to access the API locally. Put that into your browser or to your, there's the API, so put that into Postman or Insomnia or whatever. Reading the Swagger documentation to see like the documentation for the API. And 99% of the time, coming into a new project, new company, this is what's going to be telling you everything that you need to do to get started. So I want you to think about that. I want you to consider that as a way to practice, to go outside of, testing on these pre-built websites and writing test cases on these pre-built websites. Go pick up a project that doesn't have anything existing. And then you can get that experience of, and just like I just told you, think about it as you are working for a startup who wants to build out the rock, paper, scissors front end. But in order to do that, you need to do all this testing. And you want to automate it as well. But before you can even start the testing, you need to be able to do all of this. So this right here is a great way for you to get some real QA practice, some real QA experience. All right. So sharing that, very, very, very important, because if you want to win, if you want to level up, then this is what you're going to need to actually get familiar with. So that, and this right here, this is like, I guarantee you, in your first week or so, you're going to be doing exactly this on the job, reading the documentation and installing, like cloning the repo, installing the requirements, and getting the app running so that you can effectively contribute to it or test it. All right. So
Message.
All right, let's get back to full screen. And Mitch is telling me to get back to work. So time to get back to work. And I got Darcel in the building, in the house. Welcome, Darcel. Always a pleasure to have you here. It says, hey fam, this looks complicated. I can't wait to understand it all. Hey, tech is I mean, you see us building robots and stuff like that. It's a lot of code. So but I am happy to have you here. I am happy to have you on the team. All right. So one more thing before we go on. And I got Gregory in the building too. What's going on, Gregory? Because I'm looking through the chat. Awesome. All right. So let me see. Where is the link for? Oh, all right. So in the chat, there is the Chaos Camp link that circulates by the Stream Elements bot, but I will post it directly here so you can check it out. And salute to you as well, Gregory. All right. So I just posted the link directly in the chat. You can go to it and take a look at it. And it is my good friend Don created it. He actually created he created the whole thing. He created the code to get it started. And the good thing with this is you actually have sorry, Mitch, but let me talk about that for a second. So inside of here, you have the code. Well, this is what I added. Where is the code? Oh yeah, you have the code that builds the API, and so you can look through the code, but at the end of the day, you have to pretty much go through the instructions on how to get it started and test it. So this is going to be a great learning experience, a great learning opportunity, where you get to actually like this is what you'd be walking into, and then this is what you'd be building upon at a company on a day-to-day basis, on a sprint to sprint basis. So you know, try it out. Leave me comments, questions, whatever the case may be. All right. So all right. I wanted to also make this announcement. If I can find it. Let's close that. All right. So next week, Thursday, April 4th, 2024, 6 p.m. Eastern for 1 hour. 1 hour. I will be hosting a Google Meet for QAs. And whoever else as well. But for my phone, for Google. But for QAs and anybody, but mainly for QAs, where we're just gonna have a meetup. We're going to chat, and the things that I want to discuss are we're going to share some experiences in QA, some of our experiences, whether you're actually in QA already, or you're in between QA jobs, or whether you are trying to get into QA. Just want to chat, talk, whatever. Talk about some different tools that we're using in QA, tools that I've used, tools that maybe you've used, whatever the case may be. It could be from automation, it could be from reporting, anything, like whatever makes our lives easier. And then talk about some challenges that we might be facing in QA. How can we help one another? And then some ideas for networking. Another reason that I'm doing this is because I want to hear from you. I want to connect with other QA people so that because I've been in QA for 15 years now, and I've been able to navigate it and build it. And I want to know if there's any challenges that you're having. How can I help you? What kind of content would be helpful for me to make for you to continue to grow? I know I've spoken a lot about resumes and how to do your LinkedIn, things like that. So just trying to get a better idea of what is it that you guys need out there and what kind of content I can create for you, as well as communicate, connect with you. So I'm gonna drop this link in the chat as well, and I'll try to remember to mention it before that I end the show as well. So dropping that in there as well. Go ahead and sign up for that from 6 to 7 before I go live next week, Thursday, talking for APIs. I am going to be hosting. So next week is going to be super, super busy. Like this, starting from Saturday night, it's going to be really, really busy for me. I have a meeting. I have like something scheduled for every single day this coming week. But it's a free event. Free event. Go ahead and sign up. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so go back to full screen, and I am going to put up another 20 minutes on the clock.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right. Next up. We're gonna go back over here. We're gonna stop the Playwright one, and I'm gonna move on to Cypress. I mean, I could do this, and let me just get rid of some of these comments, right? Because I like to write the code in a way that it's so self-explanatory that you don't even need the comments. So this should tell you exactly what it's doing. Going to the login page, and we can get rid of this to do and enter the username and password, because login into your website and then you're passing the username and password. All right. So that's that. And look how much cleaner the code looks. Super, super clean compared to, I think I already closed it, but when we look at the one that we did for registration, right? That is all over the place. And we're already like using these locators here. But what I would do, so what I would say, right, and I'll take this out before I push it. But what I would suggest you do is rewrite the registration page code to follow the page object model. So you can use the login page as a guide. But you see how clean this looks? I would suggest that you would take the registration page, register test, and you make it as clean as the login page. I already got it started by using like the locators here, right? But I think you can make it better, and you can make it a lot cleaner by reducing the code and creating methods for so we could use this right here for from the navigation to say go to the registration page, and probably I need to add some timeouts. That's probably why it's failing on the other one. So let's say we take this right here. Let's try that real quick. Let's go to that. I'm just curious. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I just want to drop that in there. But let's say because look, we just added the code here. We didn't have to make any changes to this right here. But I want you, so Gregory, Mr. QA. I want you to, when I push this code up, I want you to take the register test page for Selenium, Playwright, and Cypress, and turn that into the page object model. Make it much cleaner. All right. So I'm gonna run it one more time just because I am a glutton for punishment, and I just want to see what's gonna happen. I don't think it's going to work though. All right. So in the meantime, we are going to get to Cypress. Start minimizing these. And same thing, whatever. Whatever. We're going to leave Playwright alone. Let's see here. Let's go to, all right, let's clean up a little bit because I don't like being disorganized. So we're going to say, let's go to Selenium. And I'm going to move this login object into the Selenium folder. Let's just refactor that. And I'm going to move the navigation object into the Selenium folder. And I'm going to say refactor. Cool. All right, let's start closing these down. keys down. Let's close everything down. All right, let's go and look at our Cypress stuff. And the thing with Cypress is they have their stuff in a totally different folder structure. So this was our registration test for Cypress. It looks very similar to how we did it for Playwright and Selenium. But what we're going to do a new TypeScript file. And we're going to call it login test.spec.sci.ts. And we're going to say, let's leave that as is. We're going to say, so we're going to have to open the browser. We're going to have to go to login page. And we're going to have to enter the username and password. All right. So look at over here. So navigation. I wonder if I can do that inside of this folder. I should, because I'm just calling it in. So let's give it a. I mean, why not? Why not give it a try? What do we have to lose? What do we have to lose? All right. So we're gonna go to directory. We're gonna say Cypress, and I want to say. Let's see if I can do it like we did last time. Open that up. We leave that. We're not going to. Let me see. I wonder if I need to do. All right, so let's look it up real quick, because I'm just not 100% sure where Cypress page objects. So let me see where they use actions instead of page objects. Let's see what they're talking about. What you talking about, Willis? Application actions, use them instead of page objects. So okay. That is for Selenium. Page objects in Cypress. You need to use a page object in Cypress. A typical page object class sign-in, similar to login from Selenium. Visit. All right. When writing tests for the home page, we can reuse. Okay, we know that. So they aren't hard to maintain, but okay. Application actions. Well, maybe this is a strategy, but we're gonna stick to page object models for now. Maybe we can revisit that in the future. But what I was more concerned about is, where do I put the page objects? So create a page object under the Cypress folder of the project. Okay, so let's say we do. So guess it should go in here. So let's say we do pages, and we go to new. Should be able to just take this. And let me get rid of this one. So if we go here, we are going to have to navigate to this folder. We're in the Cypress folder, page, so 1, 2, 3, and then go into pages, navigation. So, all right. Let's go here. And we want to go to pages / navigation / navigation. All right, so this is where we want. All right, we got that. We're not going to be using Selenium. And let's go back over here. And I don't think we even need. So let me take a look at this one. Let me see if Psy works in here. Okay, so Psy works in here. So, and it would just be Psy dot do something. Psy dot get. So, if we say click on the account navigation link, so Psy dot get account navigation link dot click. Oops. Dot click. We do not need any of these, right? And let's see, did we have anything special in here? We didn't have any. Well, we did have a timeout over here, but so let's say leave the timeouts for now. But let's say we can get rid of all of this right here. So this is going to be registration link. Oops. And we're going to do side.get dot click. And this is actually a bit easier to set up to do the page object model. So it's actually a bit easier to do in Cypress from what I'm seeing right now, at least, right? I might be speaking too soon, but it is pretty straightforward to say side.get, and then we say login navigation link dot click, and we can just get rid of this code right here. Get rid of this code right here too. And in here, we just boom, 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 boom. And what is this? You can always do sci.get, and then nav link selector, and we say click, and we can get rid of this over here. And get rid of that. So, don't have a use for that yet. But this is what we have here. So, if we were to go to our login page, well, are we exporting this? We should be. Yes. So, if we go to our login page, so let's say we do import navigation from pages navigation objects, right? And now we're going to open the browser. So sci.visit, and we're going to say https freemindrecovery.com, and go to login page. So we're going to say navigation dot go to login page. And let's put async. I still need to figure that out a little bit better. Async. What is that? All right. So what are we using? Let's see. Promise return from go to. What? I don't know what that means. Let's see here. Promises return to. Oh. That's one of my limitations with the whole Java and TypeScript stuff about these promises, and I don't like making promises. But anyways, we can figure that out a little bit later. All right, so we have the login page. Maybe I don't need to do the async on there. I don't know. Let me see. If I take this out, what happens? Oh, wait off. But then they have async as well, async as well. So if we're doing that, let's see. All right, let's see what happens. Let's go back to over here. All right, so that's good. So what we can do, we can actually run this and see if it's going to go to the login page. And if it does, then we can finish off this in the next segment. So how do we open Cypress again? Is it, I don't remember, is Cypress open? Ah, look at that. So we go here and we go to here. And it's going to open in one of these browsers. Right, there we go. And we can see it over here.
Lunch break! Lunch break!
All right, so let's see if this is gonna go first before we go to our break, and then I will address Gregory's questions in the chat. All right, let's see. So if we go to okay, let's see what happens. So the following errors originated from your code cannot call sci.visit outside a running test. Okay. My bad. So we do need to, so that's my mistake. We do need to do all of this stuff over here. So um we'll do that when we come back, right? But what I need to do is I wasn't thinking straight, but I do need to do all this describe it and stuff like that in order for the test to be able to run properly in Cypress. So we will do that in here when I come back. So that's one of my limitations on Cypress and the whole JavaScript TypeScript stuff. So let's go to break and let's take a look at the chat. So let me acknowledge Gregory first and foremost for his $3 super chat super sticker. Shout out to you. You know what, Gregory?
I appreciate you.
You are awesome. You are amazing. Thank you so much for that. Definitely not required, but very much appreciated.
We the best.
All right. So, and of course,
Money.
that's always a very nice thing. All right, let's get to Gregory's question. He says, so with my bootcamp, they offered me a free course. The choice is between Python or API testing. Ooh, that is a tough question. Which one should I select for a free course? Okay. I I don't know the quality of that you'll get from doing Python in the bootcamp. Um, I so that's so and I probably would lean more towards API testing because it is super important to like everything runs off APIs nowadays. So I probably lean towards taking the API testing as a free course. Um, Python is so massive, and I just it might be a wasted opportunity if the Python course is like rushed or very limited and doesn't like teach you everything that you need. I would probably say take the API course and then I would probably do a Udemy course if you wanted to learn Python. Do a Udemy course in Python where you can strategically go through all the steps of Python, and then after you get the good grasp of Python, then you could also go towards a automation, like a Python course that is focused on automation. Skip the parts that you've already learned in the prior Python course, and go straight to the Selenium or whatever Playwright part and learn that. That would be like how I would probably approach it. It's like I don't know the quality that you would get with the Python training, but I'd say the earlier that you can learn API testing, the better. It's super valuable. Let me start the timer for the break. But I wanted to address your question before I started the timer, just so I could like really think about it, give it adequate amount of time and attention. But yeah, I would probably go with the API because the thing is, for example, like one of the Python courses that I recommend, they say it's 100 days, but it'll really take more than 100 days, depending on how much time you have to dedicate to it. But it is really comprehensive, and it's going to give you a good, solid foundation in Python. That's a course that I took for Python, and it helped me tremendously. Like I use it every single day, and like now I'm very proficient in Python and figuring things out. So I don't know, like if it's like a course where like you have an instructor that's leading you, even like one of the people that I'm coaching, young 20-year-old um, guy. He was taking Python at his college, and it just I don't know if it was a teacher or what, but it wasn't getting it. I said, okay, take this Udemy course for Python, and all of a sudden it was a 180-degree change and becoming very, very proficient in Python. So that's why I would say probably go with the API testing. All right. So um back to our topic about how would you get started. So here's the other thing about that. If you are not if you're not, you need to study how agile works. And that's why this coming Saturday for my Patreon members, I am doing a intro to agile, like how to apply agile to your studying, to your training. I did one for another group like a couple of weeks ago, but this one is going to be more tech focused to my because pretty much all of my Patreon members are, and this is for all my Patreon members. Any tier, any paid tier, not only to my coaching group, because I've already like the coaching group, we pretty much work in an agile environment on a day to day, week to week basis. But I wanted to, for those who are not part of the coaching group, so how you can structure that agile methodology to your learning, whether you're doing Kanban, whether you're doing Scrum. So we're going to be jumping on a Google Meet call, and I'm going to, we're going to talk about it, explain it, uh, give you some guidance and some structure, how to do your daily stand ups, how to set up your sprints, the tools. I had a video that I released the other day, maybe last month, planning for this, like the tools that you need to get, uh, you know, tools like Jira, and so because the thing is, once you get into work, 90% of it, like 99% chance, you're going to be either using Scrum, Agile, maybe Lean. I'm not too familiar with Lean, but which I'll have to look into. But you're probably using Scrum, right? Maybe Kanban, but you need to know the terms. You need to know how it works. You need to know how to participate in these meetings, how to participate in these story refinements where you are reading through it, making sure that we understand it, maybe making sure that the requirements and the acceptance criteria is clear. Very, very important stuff. And this spans across all IT. It's not just for QA, it's not just for software engineering. It spans across everything in IT. Pretty much everything now is running off Agile, whether it's Kanban, whether it's Scrum. So we are going to be talking about that. But all the tools you need, like getting familiar with tools like Slack, getting familiar with, and that's why I do not use Discord for my coaching group, because you're not going to be using Discord at work, right? So so that's the training that I'm going to be doing this coming Saturday for my Patreon members, so that we need to work, we need to train ourselves in the same environment that we're going to be working. And if you want to get into the tech industry, it's not enough to just do a boot camp, do a Udemy course. The Udemy courses, they lie to you, because they tell you, see, Mitch, I'm not picking on the boot camp right now. I'm going to pick on Udemy courses. They lie to you because they'll tell you, oh, take this course and you can become a QA engineer in this
Get a
amount of
move on,
time.
back to work, chop chop, let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work, back to work, back to work.
You can become a QA engineer as soon as you finish this course. But some of them, they'll talk about Agile, they talk about Jira. Those are the better ones. But a lot of times they don't show you how to work in those environments. They don't train you the right way. So that's why I try to bridge that gap so that you can see the what it is that you're lacking. When I had lunch like last month with not a recruiter, but they work on they work they're like the client manager for the companies who need employees, right? So I was asking, like, what is the do you get resumes and stuff from people who have done Udemy courses, boot camps, and things like that? And the answer was yes, we do. But there is such a gap in what the companies need versus what they've learned. And I said, okay, that's what I see as well, and trying to help bridge that gap and help to have better understanding and clarity on what needs to be done so that you can be adequately prepared to take on that role. So so that's what I'm talking about. And pairing that working methodology with the, for example, some chaos camp challenges like the rock paper scissors. So let's say you set up a Jira board, for example, and you say, okay, these are the things that I need to do for this chaos camp challenge for the rock paper scissors, and you list out your stories and you list out your tasks and you list out whether you're using Scrum every 2 weeks or you can do a 1 week sprint, whatever the case may be. Or if you're using Kanban, you have your in progress, your to do, your in progress, and your completed, and you have your backlog. But finding a way to work on your own. See, a lot of times we're able to work for a company because they force the discipline on us. But we refuse. We refuse to have that self-discipline. And one of the things that I always tell, like I tell everyone this, but especially the people that I'm coaching, I say, I want to see your calendar full. I want to see your calendar full. And the thing is, every time I check the calendar, the only thing I find on their calendar is the meetings that they have scheduled with me. And that's a problem because the reason that you don't want to schedule, like you don't want to have your calendar filled out, is because you don't want to be accountable to yourself. You don't want to have that self-discipline. You would rather the company force discipline on you and you be miserable because they're forcing the discipline on you instead of you putting that discipline upon yourself and sticking to your calendar, saying, okay, this is what I have to do, having your Jira board, having your daily stand-up, having your goals. We don't want goals, and to me, that's what the biggest problem is. And that is why, Mitch, this is why I think that a lot of people, they can't transition into tech because tech requires a lot of discipline. Sure, they might have those a day in the life where they wake up at noon and then they go surf on the beach and then they show up to a meeting for like 5 minutes and then they, I don't know, do something at a coffee shop. But that is not the case. That is not how the life works in tech. And if that's the life you're expecting in tech, then you are sadly mistaken. You have been lied to. It is a lot of work. Tell me if I'm lying, Mitch. Tell me if I'm lying. Being in tech is a lot of work. There's on cost, and then the higher you go, there's more responsibility. So you need to be able to instill that self discipline because that is how you burn out. And do I burn out? Not really. I get tired sometimes. Like today, I was pretty tired. I get tired sometimes, but that's because my schedule, my calendar, my life is full. If I were to show you my calendar, you'd be like, "What in the world is that?" So that's why I always say, like, there's a process to becoming ready. Doing that boot camp, doing that Udemy course, doing that Coursera course, doing free code camp, it is not enough. It is not enough. All right. So let me read Mitch's comment, and then we are going to get our last segment on for tonight before I wrap it up. Because I also most likely I'm going to spend some time with one of my tech barbarians to get them set up on, like, I met, like I said, I met with them this morning. I'm gonna meet with them again this afternoon or tonight after this show, so that we can do a little bit more work to get them set up so they can be well on their way. Right. So busy, like, and I just try to leave it all on the line, put it all on the table. Okay. So Mitch says, yes, QA in 2 days. That's what I've been trying to do, but it doesn't happen that way. And he says, oh man, my head almost exploded with all this data today. I wish they would say they can get this in 2 days. Thank you. It's and like on and I have like I've been wanting to do this data engineering. What is it called? It's like with machine learning and stuff like that, but I just didn't haven't had the capacity to do it. And but I love like the data stuff, and I've done like parts of the class, but it's just so much to do, and it's a massive field. So you know, hats I salute you, Mitch. Like hats off to you because data is massive, and I'm fascinated by data. You know what I mean? Um, I do what I can. I do what I can. All right. Okay. Anyways, bitch. Anyways. Let's get to it. Let's say our last 20 minutes of the night.
It's time to do.
Okay. So we are going to go back to here. And Mitch, like not last year, because last year, like I just made it to one, like I'm like a year and a month in at my current company. But the year before that, I was working in the because they got rid of the data and analytics team. So they're like, hey, would you be able to keep these certain like um workflows going, like ETL workflows, extract, transform, load? And I was like, I guess. So I learned a lot about like data and moving data around and manipulate, like so taking data from a SQL database, manipulating it, getting into a API form. It was crazy. It was fun. But I was like, I think I'll stick with QA though. But at least I had the opportunity to learn how to do it. So all right, let's go ahead and let's get this to be the right way. I'm gonna just put this over here for now, just so I can see what I need to do. And we go here. So we're gonna have to do, this was my bad. We're gonna say describe. And we're gonna say user can successfully log into the application. And we're gonna say comma. All right, and we are going to move. We're going to say it. Log into application. And we're going to go with, we're just going to copy this code. Into here. Let's close that. All right. So now if we go back over to here and we refresh. All right. There we go. It is doing its thing. Boom. There we go. So we got our page object working in Cypress. So let's finish. Let's continue. We got my guy in the building. Oh, awesome. What's going on, Pluto?
I appreciate you. Let's get it.
Happy to have you here. And let's see. Pluto said, oops, how did I get there? Let's see. How many cells can sell Selenium to sell the cell of Selenium? I'm gonna go with 15. 15. That's the number. That's what I'm sticking with. And it says off for 3 days, resting before the next moves Monday. How are you? I am doing well, and enjoy your next 3 days off, Pluto. As always, enjoy the 3 days off. And all right, let me just wanted to say what's up to Pluto, but let me get back to work. Let me get back to work because I'll start talking with you guys, and it'll go off the rails, and then the people will be mad at me because they're like, you're supposed to be automating, and Mitch is supposed to be keeping Ralph on track, and then we just start talking about different stuff. So let me focus. All right, so let's go ahead and let's add. So it was actually a lot easier to do the page object model for Cypress than it was to do it for the other ones. By easy, I just mean a lot less code. All right, so let's say another TypeScript file, and we're going to say, this is going to be login objects dot ts, and we're going to say, let me move this to the top now. Move to the top. So we're gonna say import. Actually, we could just go with use Playwright. All right. So if we go to, I want this. And I'm going to have to navigate to this folder. And we're going to go to pages / login / login selectors. That's the one that I want. And we go back to the beginning and we're going to say, class login. And we're going to say, enter the email address. And we say side.get email login input field dot enter. What is it for? It should be type. See, like, and this is the syntax differences, right? Playwright has fill. What does Selenium have? I think it's input text or enter text or something like that. Selenium is like send, so Selenium is send keys. Playwright is fill, and Cypress is type, which, it's just syntax differences,
I appreciate you.
Well, shout out to Alfred for being the newest subscriber. Thank you so much, Alfred. Great to have you here. All right, so we're going to say .type. And we are going to say, so we need to have a email address. So email address string. And now we're going to enter the email address here. And then we have another method for enter the password and password string. And we're going to say sci.get.password input field dot type password. And here's the thing with automation, once you get the flow going, it becomes pretty easy. It becomes pretty simple. You know, it's we just gotta get the flow going. So then because like once you start understanding the code and stuff like that, the syntax, at that point is it becomes more of like figuring out issues because this stuff at this point is like super simple at this point, like to of how to automate, but it becomes okay. I need to figure out how to do a loop, and then within that loop, I need to say, if this happens, then do this. If that happens, then do that. So that is like that is becomes like the more complex parts of automation, and then like figuring different things out. The critical thinking part of it. At the beginning, it's gonna be hard to wrap your mind about like around writing this automation code. But once you get the hang of it, the real challenge becomes in okay, I need to test it in a particular way. I have to figure out the code to write to do it. So, and that's how I ended up growing. Because when I first started, my code would look almost like this, but the selectors would be like inside of here, and it was a hot mess. But as I kept going, I started okay. I can externalize this, and then like if I was able to show you some of the code that I write at work, you would be like, "What in the world? How did you come up with that?" Like, and sometimes I wonder, like, how did I come up with that? But it's that process of for me, like the way I see it, the more you move up in QA, the more it becomes a how do you solve problems? How do you find solutions? Because you might think it's only the software engineers who are supposed to find solutions. I totally wholeheartedly disagree with that. It is like anyone who is in the engineering team, QA included, is responsible for finding solutions, and that goes to show when we were working on the project, and I wrote a script to use the AWS SDK to be able to automate creating these jobs in AWS S3. Was that part of my like job description? Um, no, but I just made it a part. I just added it and like now, and I'm like, look what I can do, you know, and just adding more and more value to your team, and you know, they appreciate that, and you get the right recognition for it. So let's see. All right, so submit login button dot click. All right, so now we can come down here and write our method log into web site, and we're going to pass in the email address as a string, password as a string. And here's the thing, right? Because a lot of people have the idea, the mentality of, oh, you know, I'm just going to do my job, and I'm just going to you know, not do more, not go the extra mile. But here's what happens when you do that. You see, for me, I love contributing to the team. I love helping out and stuff like that. But I want to gain that experience. So when I mentioned like working on Terraform, I love working on Terraform because it stimulates my mind, and I'm able to say, okay, I'm gaining all of that information that is I'm getting all that information that is like so valuable to me and to my future development. Everything that I do, I see it as career growth. It's not just like, oh, it's like it's for the team, it's for the company. Yes, of course it is. But everything you do is also for your career growth, for your development. The more that you learn, the more you can start to piece it together. Everything that I've been using, like from these past 15 to 20 years that I've been working in IT, they've all like from when I started doing tech support, answering calls, helping people configure their emails, helping them configure their websites, helping them move their DNS over to our hosting company. To this day, I use every last one of those things. How to configure email, like from 20 years ago. Like it's actually like I started working for that company in like 2005, so it's almost 20 years now. And every single thing, I still use it. Like you've seen me in my hosting company, the one that I use, the DreamHost, doing setting up the name servers to point the domain names to the right spots to the AWS. That's from 20 years ago that I learned it. Configuring email addresses, SMTP servers, POP servers, IMAP servers. That's from 20 years ago. Answering calls, helping customers to configure their services. FTPing to the server. That's from 20 years ago. SSH, you know, and that helped me developing websites, helped me doing QA, like learning how to develop websites, write CSS, HTML. That helped me be a better QA person. So like when you have the mentality of, well, that's not my job. Well, if you only do exactly what's your job, how are you ever going to develop? How are you ever going to push forward? We really shoot ourselves in the foot. We really shoot ourselves in the foot. All right, let's go to, and then you end up in the club like Plastical Burris, missing part of your foot or your thigh, whatever the case may be, because you don't want to put in the work. You don't want to put in the work. All right, let's go over to this one, and we're gonna say import. Wait, I have to export this, right? Let's say export const login equals new login. All right. So now we're gonna go here, say import login from pages login objects. And now all we have to do is go down here and say login dot, and we're gonna say login to website, and we need let me see what's the username and password. Let's go over to, let's close this one out and let's go to login test, and let's copy my playwright test. One of these is right. Copy this. Okay, let's close this back out. And now, if we go over to, oops, not that one, this one, let's see what it does. Refresh. It didn't fill out the email address. Why not? So, because it clicked on, let's do that again. Because going to here, right, so let's throw a weight in front of it then. Let me go to here and we go to any one of those time thingies. Well, it has it there. Let's put it in front of it. I hate doing this part, but because of the messiness of the website, it's kind of have to just to get it to work this time at least. So let's go back over here and let's go to the specs. Why is
Lunch
it-
break! Lunch break!
I don't know why it's going to the support page first. Oh no, it's not. It's going to just goes to no, it goes here and here. I don't know why it's trying to. It's like going to a contact page or something first. Let's see. See, it goes to some contact page. Oh, I think I see what's happening. So, anyhow, that's the page. I mean, you can see the page object model. I'm going to push it up for you guys to fix it, make it better. Let me know, and you can fork it and ask me for a code review, and I would be more than happy to do that for you. Um, sometimes, but yeah, I mean that's what it is. But hopefully, these past few weeks gave you a lot of insight on. I mean, past 8 weeks to past 2 months gave you a lot of insight on a few things, right? On how you can easily get started getting more familiar with 3 different automation frameworks: Selenium, Playwright, and Cypress. Pick your poison. How after you get your basic test done, how you can start to make it cleaner. I mean, there's way more that we can do than the page object model, but that's going to be definitely a question that you'd get and something that you'd want to do to start off with. But so many more things that we can do, like to make the test the test more manageable, create a framework around it, stuff like that. Also, hopefully, if you are into software, if you're a software engineer, do your testers a favor, add IDs or test IDs that they can easily be able to navigate the website so that your QA people don't hate you, right? But yeah, those are the different things that we looked over. We spent a lot of time getting this done, and I had a great time doing it. And like I said, we're going to be moving next into API testing starting next week. But I'm gonna push, like I said, I'm gonna push this code up. And if you're a QA person, pull it in, and continue, like, turn the registration into the page object model, make it clean. And then, automate some other parts of the website, navigating the website, um, maybe filling out the contact form, but not clicking submit because you don't want to spam calculus coder, you know. Um, and see what else is on the website that you can automate. After logging in, is there anything else that you can automate? Um, clicking the donate button, see where it takes you to. Things like that. Things like that you want to look into, Um, navigate the website, see what you can automate. So, yeah. All right, let me take a look at the chat. And well, before I look at the chat, let me remind you one more time. Next week, open for anyone. Thursday, April 4th. I am doing my QA meetup online, Google Meet, for 1 hour, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. before I go live with our API testing. We're going to be sharing different experiences, whether you're already in QA, whether you're transitioning into QA, whether you're in between jobs in QA. Talk about some different tool sets and what we've done, frameworks, testing suites, etc. And then what kind of challenges we might be facing in QA, as well as ideas for better networking together. Let's build a team, let's build a unit so that we can be there to support each other and grow together. Okay. So looking forward to seeing you there. Open to even if you're not in QA, open to everyone, but it's going to be a QA focused. Join us on our Google Meet call and let's have the conversation. Let's have the conversation. As well as I am doing Scrum training this coming Saturday for my Patreon members. So looking forward to seeing you there. You don't want to miss it. I guarantee it. You do not want to miss it. All right. So I am going to get going, but before, you know what? I have to look at the chat before we go. Let's look at the chat. So Mitch says he is just here trying to keep me on track. All right, Mitch, as always.
I appreciate you.
Sometimes I have no idea what I'd do if Mitch didn't show up to these streams because my mind be going all over the place sometimes. And Pluto says, nice, glad I can catch streaming, vibing, love it. And Pluto says he's applying for scholarships. Wow, I tell you, Pluto be putting in that work at 15K worth, hoping to get it all. I want you to get every last bit of it, all right? But with that being said, I have a question for you after we've hung out so much tonight and we've worked so hard through, doing Cypress, doing Playwright, doing Selenium the past few weeks. My question for you is...
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I am very, very well entertained, educated, and informed. I hope you are as well. But, you all know that, yesterday's price is not, I repeat, it is not today's price. And today's price is certainly not tomorrow's price because...
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
And on that note, this is Tech Coach Ralph, and we are out.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts. Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again. Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
of the north. Today we have tasted the sweet nectar of victory. Our foes indeed defeated, and their lands are now bow before us. The gods themselves have favored our glorious deeds on this glorious day. We have shed blood, sweat, and tears to claim this land. Our relentless spirit, our unyielding determination, these are the very essence of our people. The spirit of our ancestors rejoice in the halls of Valhalla. For today, we have added to their eternal glory. Our victories will echo throughout the ages, and our names will be etched in the annals of history. But let us not forget the present pain, the brothers and sisters we lost. They now feast in the hall of our forefathers, watching over us with pride. Their sacrifice has paved the way for this moment of triumph. As we celebrate this conquest, let us also remember that our journey is far from over. More land awaits our conquest, more battles call us forth, and the fire in our hearts burn ever brighter, for there is no limit to what we can achieve. To those who dare stand against us, let them tremble in fear, for they shall witness the fury of the northern storm, the wrath of the untamed barbarians. Today we celebrate our victory. Tomorrow, we set our sights on new horizons, a charted land where our banners will fly high. We are Vikings, we're barbarians, we are masters of conquest.